$73 million for one plane. Not a stadium, not a team. Just a single private jet that one footballer bought to get himself to work. For that kind of money, you could buy 100 normal houses. He bought something to fly over them in, and then had his own goal celebration painted down the side of it. That's Cristiano Ronaldo, and his is the most expensive of them all. But the strange thing is, his isn't even the best story. Because the players you're about to meet didn't rent these machines for a photo shoot. They own them. And the reason they bought them, the things they did to them, and the things that happened to them along the way are even better than the price tags. So let's climb aboard. Cristiano Ronaldo. Gulfstream G650. It makes sense to start in the sky with Ronaldo, because at the start of 2025, he went and bought a Gulfstream G650, one of the most expensive private jets money can buy. This is the same aircraft flown by people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. And to get it, Ronaldo sold his old Gulfstream G200 for around $24 million just to fund the upgrade. And he made absolutely sure everyone knows whose plane it is. The whole thing is painted a menacing, all black with the CR7, initials picked out in gold by the front door, and the silhouette of the famous Sioux celebration running along the fuselage. Inside there's a private suite with a king-size bed, electric leather seats, a kitchen turning out gourmet meals, and room for 19 passengers. It can fly from Riyadh to New York in about 7 hours without stopping. To put that $73 million price in perspective, you could buy around 250 brand new Ferraris for the cost of this one plane. And Ronaldo uses it to fly to football matches. For him, a jet isn't transport. It's a statement that happens to have wings, and a gold one at that. What? David Beckham, Bombardier Challenger 350, where Ronaldo's jet shouts, David Beckham's whispers. The most stylish man in the game flies a Bombardier Challenger 350, worth around $27 million, and it suits him completely. The Challenger 350 is the best-selling jet in its class. All clean lines and quiet sophistication, which is Beckham in aircraft form, and it earns its keep. As the father of 4 and now a co-owner of Inter Miami, Beckham needs something that does. The family holidays and the constant business trips across the Atlantic. This one seats around 10. The seats fold flat into beds, and it's quiet enough to actually sleep on those long London to Miami hops. $27 million just so the school run to Miami is comfortable, retired or not. The man still travels exactly like the brand he spent 30 years building. We also have a young up-and-comer on the team, a guy named David Beckham. He is tough. And in fact, it is a rare man who can be that tough on the field. And also have his own line of underwear. Zlatan Ibrahimović, Cessna Citation Longitude. Of course, if there's one man who was never going to travel quietly, it's Zlatan Ibrahimović. The most quotable footballer who ever lived flies a Cessna Citation Longitude, one of the most expensive planes any footballer owns, worth around $26 million. It's a top of the range. Brand new generation machine with a 65 ft wingspan, room for 12 and the range to cross continents in one go. You can stand up inside it, eat a proper meal and sleep. In a real bed at 30,000 ft. It's a jet designed to make you feel like the most important person in the world. The second you step on board, which for a man who once described himself as a god isn't a new feeling, it's just confirmation. Zlatan of the Republic of Zlatan has won the World Cup. Perfect. Neymar. Cessna Citation Sovereign. Most footballers buy their jet once. Neymar had to buy his twice. Today he flies a Cessna Citation Sovereign, registered PRSMK, worth around $20 million and held through his own company. It seats 12, it's all over his Instagram, and it shuttles him between Brazil, Europe, and Saudi Arabia without a second thought. And the reason he owns this particular one comes down to the taxman. Neymar's first jet, an Embraer Legacy, was actually seized by Brazilian tax authorities back in 2016, along with his yacht, in the middle of a huge tax dispute. Most people, when the taxman takes their private jet, take that as a fairly serious warning. Neymar simply went out and bought a bigger, better one to replace it. He lost a plane to the government and treated it as an excuse to upgrade. That in one story is Neymar. I am you from the future. Do you want me to try music one last time? Yes, Paul Pogba. Gulfstream G280. Paul Pogba was never going to do understated. He flies a Gulfstream G280, a sleek mid-sized jet worth around $20 million, and honestly, it's exactly the jet you'd have guessed he owned. Flashy, fast, and finished to within an inch of its life. It carries around 10 passengers, comes packed with Wi-Fi and full leather everywhere you look, and cruises at over 500 mph, $20 million in the air to match the fleet of Rolls-Royces and Lamborghinis already in the garage. Pogba's career had had some turbulence of its own in the last few years, but his eye for the finer things never once wavered. When you've owned the cars he has, a private jet isn't a splurge. It's just the next shelf up. You want some picture with me? You want some picture? Come, I make you famous now. Zlatan Ibrahimović. Laughter. Wayne Rooney. Dassault Falcon 900 LX. Wayne Rooney has traded the pitch for the dugout, but he still travels like the man who conquered both. He owns a Dassault Falcon 900 LX, a serious long-range jet worth around $23 million. This is a proper aircraft, 3 engines, the kind of range built across oceans without coming down, the sort of plane heads of state fly in. And for a man whose life is now a blur of management, media work, and ferrying a big family around, it adds up. But the part we're sitting with is the journey. Wayne Rooney grew up in a small council house in Croxteth, Liverpool. Today, he owns a private jet worth $23 million, the same kind of aircraft governments buy for their president. From a council estate to a presidential jet, say that out loud and it still doesn't sound real, which is exactly what makes it brilliant. Lionel Messi, Gulfstream 5. Not every jet is about showing off though. Some say something softer about the man who owns them, and none more so than Lionel Messi's. He flies a Gulfstream 5, registered LVIRQ, which he bought back in 2018 for about $15 million. It's long-range, reliable, and not remotely flashy, which is about as messy as an aircraft can get. But look closer, and the whole thing is quietly covered in his life. On the tail is his famous number 10, and on the steps to climb to board it, he's had the names of his family engraved into the metal. His wife Antonella and his 3 boys, Tiago, Matteo, and Ciro. So every time he walks up into his own plane, he steps over the names of the people he loves. Inside, 16 seats fold down into 8 beds, with a full kitchen and 2 bathrooms. So, while Ronaldo painted a giant gold celebration down the side of his jet, Messi quietly engraved his kids' names onto the stairs. 2 greatest players of all time. 2 completely different ideas of what $15 million in the sky should say. Gareth Bale, Cessna Citation XLS Plus. Sometimes the jet tells you exactly what a man actually cares about. Gareth Bale flies a Cessna Citation XLS Plus worth around $8 million. The most modest aircraft here, but a quick, beautifully equipped mid-sized jet that does everything he needs. And what he needs it for says everything about him. Because Bale famously joked that his order of priorities was Wales, then golf, then Real Madrid in that order. So, now that he's retired from football, what do you think his private jet is mostly for? Hopping between his homes and the greatest golf courses on the planet. One of the fastest players the sport ever produced, using an $8 million jet as the world's most expensive golf buggy. Other players fly to finals. Bale flies it to the first tee. Honestly, you have to respect the commitment. Samuel Eto'o, Bombardier Challenger 604. The price tags start to come down from here, but the stories only get bigger. Samuel Eto'o, the Cameroonian legend who tore it up for Barcelona and Inter Milan, owns a Bombardier Challenger 604, worth somewhere between $6 and $7 million. It's a long-range twin-engine business jet with a wide, comfortable cabin that seats up to 12. These days, Eto'o is the president of the Cameroon Football Federation, and the jet carries him all around the world as one of the game's great ambassadors. But think about the distance in that. A boy from Cameroon who grew up with nothing, close to this, ends up with a trophy cabinet most players can only dream of, and his own private jet to fly between continents. The plane isn't really the flex. The journey to owning it is Didier Drogba, the Versace J. And it feels right to finish with the most unforgettable jet of the lot. The Chelsea icon, Didier Drogba, reportedly treated himself to a fully customized, Versace-themed private jet styled, like the inside of a fashion house, valued at around $7.5 million. Quick word on that number, by the way. You'll see places online claiming it cost 76 million. That's a misprint that's been copied around the internet for years. The real figure is far lower, but the price was never the point of this one. It's the image that sticks. One of the most influential players Africa has ever produced flying home in a jet decked out head to toe in Versace. Because if a designer can do handbags, why not fuselage? After everything Drogba won on the pitch and everything he's done for his country off it, if anyone has earned the right to arrive in a fashion house aircraft, it's him. And that feels like the perfect place to bring this one into land. So, there's a runway full of them, seized planes bought back out of spite, family names engraved into the boarding steps, goal celebrations painted down the fuselage, and one jet dressed entirely in Versace. From Ronaldo's $73 million monster to a plane built mostly for golf trips, every one of these machines says something about the man who owns it. So, tell me, which one would you want parked at your local airport? Ronaldo's all-black beast or Messi's quiet family jet with the number 10 on the tail? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, give it a like, subscribe to Lux Football, and I'll see you in the next one.